Lecture number 4, network-based vulnerabilities. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the three important concepts. So the first concept is network security threat model. The second one, vulnerability exploit and attack. The third concept, the third very important concept is network security taxonomy. So these are the three major concepts we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. If you see the last one, network security taxonomy. So here we are going to discuss about 4 different types of possible vulnerabilities and attacks. Okay, in a network, if you take a network, what are the 4 different types of vulnerabilities and attacks we can expect? Means the first one is header based. Second one, protocol based, authentication based, traffic based. So these are the 4 different types of attacks and vulnerabilities we can expect in network security in networks. So these are the concepts that we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. Now, let me go to the first one, network security threat model. Okay, network security threat model. Now, you can see here, this is our layers. These are all the layers available. So in the last class, we discussed about these layers, and every layer, what are the addresses? What are the different types of addresses used? Okay, we already discussed. I'm just going to recap. Okay, so just a small recap here. So the topmost layer, application layer, presentation layer, and session layer, we are going to take it as a single layer here. APS, application layer, presentation layer, and session layer. All the 3 layers we are going to consider as as application layer. Then the next layer is the transport layer. Next layer is the IP layer. The next layer is the physical layer. Okay, so physical layer means this is the data link layer. Then we have the physical layer. They merge together. Okay, they merge together. So this is layer 7, layer 6, layer 5. And this is layer 4. You can please follow the mouse pointer. Okay, TCP. So this is layer 4. And this one is a layer 3. Okay, layer 3. And this is layer 2. Okay, then we have the physical layer and data link layer I merged together here. Okay, layer 1 and layer 2 will merge together. Now, what is security threat model or network security threat model means? In the layered approach, in the layered model of network, each layer is going to receive the information from the layers below it and passes the information to the layers above it. So that means every layer is going to receive something. If you take layer 2 is going to receive the bits. It is going to receive the bits from the layer 1. Then it is doing something. Okay, that is the frames. Then it will pass something. It will give something to the above layer. So every layer is going to receive something from the lower layers. Okay, from the lower layers, they are going to receive something. Then they are going to process it. Okay, they are going to do some process. Then finally, they are having some output, some result. The output will be given to the upper layer. Okay, it will be given to the upper layer. Okay, I repeat the concept. Every layer, you take any layer, layer 2 or layer 3, layer 4, any layer, it is going to take the input from the below layers. Okay, so here you can see there is arrow mark available here. So that means the layer 2, physical layer and data link, together you can take it. Okay, consider this as a layer 2. So layer 2 is giving some input to layer 3. So in the layer 3, in the IP layer, it is going to do some process. Some process is going on. Okay, we already discussed what is that process means. The name of the process is called encapsulation and decapsulation. So encapsulation means adding the address. Decapsulation means it is going to remove the address. Okay, that means the headers it will remove, headers it will add. So every layer is going to do a process. It is going to do a process. Then it is giving it to the above layer. So the output will be given to the above layer. Now, the interesting thing, what is the interesting thing here means? every layer is going to work only on the header. Every layer is going to work. Every layer is going to concentrate only on the header. They cannot read what is available in the payload. They cannot see what is available inside the payload part. They cannot, okay, read it. This is the place where the problem starts. Okay, think. Don't think it. Okay, don't listen like a lesson. Okay, just take it. Think in a common way. See, every layer is going to concentrate only the header part. Okay, they are going to add the header or they are going to remove the header. Okay, they are doing that. But what about the payload part? In the payload part, okay, so the data link layer is not going to do anything in the payload. Okay, they are not allowed to see actually. If you go for the IP layer is not going to see the payload part. The same thing, transport layer, it is not going to see what is available in the payload part. They are going to concentrate only in the headers. Only in the headers they are going to concentrate. Now, just imagine in the payload part, a virus is inserted. I'm sending a virus, okay? Yeah, attacker is sending a virus to you. So the virus program is going to available only in the payload part. That is the data that I'm going to send. So your layer 1, simply it is going to join all the bits. Then it is going to your layer 2. In the layer 2, they are going to see what is your MAC address, source MAC address, destination MAC address. That's it. Okay, the layer 2 is not going to see what is available in the payload. Then it will be given to the next layer. So in the IP layer also, it is going to see only the IP address. What is the source IP address? What is the destination IP address? Okay, that's it. So the IP layer also not going to see what is available in the payload. Unfortunately, we have a virus now, example. Then it is going to the next layer. In the next layer also, in the transport layer also, the same thing is going to happen. That means the transport layer is also not going to see what is available in the payload part. This is the threat. This is the place where the problem starts. Okay, so every layer it is going to analyze. Okay, the payload of each packet is not analyzed. The payload part is not analyzed by the layers. They are not going to analyze the payload part. Simply, they are going to concentrate only on the headers. So only encapsulation or decapsulation will be going on. Okay, encapsulation will be going on or decapsulation will be going on. So checking the payload part is not allowed. Okay, they are not going to do. So this is the place where the threat starts. Okay, where the threat, that means the network security threat is going to start in this particular place. Now, we have another, okay, topology diagram. You can see. Follow this topology diagram now. You may understand this network threat model, okay, in more detail. Now, I'm taking four systems now. Okay, I'm going to take 4 different systems in this particular topology diagram. Now, if you see the first one, okay, this is machine 1 and this is the machine 2. Okay, in between there are 2 routers. This is internet. Okay, user A and user B. Now, user A and user B, they want to communicate. They want to interact with each other. They want to communicate with each other through the internet, through a public network. This is a public network. This is the internet part. Okay, through the internet. So in the internet, what is available? Okay, routers. There are so many routers available. So user A, okay, is going to go through the router 1, then router 2, then is going to reach the destination. Now, in this place, that means in this topology diagram, okay, you can see here where the attacks available, where the attacks are possible, means you can see attack point 1, attack point 2, attack point 3, attack point 4. So there are 4 different points we are going to consider as attacking points or possible to attack. Okay, possible to attack. What is this? You see, this is my machine. Okay, this is my machine. Okay, my machine is connected with the local router. Okay, that means you can take this is a Omantel router. Now, inside my machine, is it safe? Okay, that means the data is safe means, okay, we can take it as safe. We can consider this as safe now. it is not safe, but we can consider as safe, okay, because it is private network. It is in your network. Now, from my network, the data is moving from the local network. The data is moving to the internet. Now, so here threat is available. That means, okay, this is the place where, okay, it is possible. That means attacks are possible. So attackers can capture your packet. They can modify your packet. Okay, they can do something. Okay, so this is going to be the attack point 1. Then this is the first router. I reach the first router. So inside the router, okay, consider there is no attack. Okay, consider. Now, from one router to another router, the packet is moving. You can see from my packet, that means from my router, sorry, not my router, from router 1 to the router 2, the packet is moving. Okay, from router 1 to router 2, the packet is moving. Okay, now, so here the packet is moving. Here also the attacker can take your packets. They can capture your packets. So this is going to be attack point 2. Okay, attack point 2. So there are 2 points we discovered now. Then the second router is connected with this machine. With this machine, okay, it is connected. Now you can see this is going to be the attack point 3. Then inside this network, just now we discussed in the previous slide. Okay, every layer, simply they are going to check only the header. They are not going to check what is available in the payload part. So this is also a attack point. So there are 4 different points, attack points we are discovering in a simple, okay, network setup. So you just imagine if the number of routers increase here, I have 100 routers here. Okay, I'm having 100 routers in this place. Okay, we don't know how many routers will be available. I want to send some data from Oman to India. Okay, I'm in Oman and this is available in India. So I don't know how many routers my packet may cross. So automatically, okay, there are a lot of attack points available. Okay, attack points available. So this is, okay, the point, okay, you must understand. Now here, point attack point 1, attack point 3. Okay, 1 and 3, you see 1 and 3. This is an attacker can be located on the local network. This is depending upon the local network. In the private network, attack point 1, attack point 2, we are going to consider this as a local network. 2 is completely, it is going to be the internet. Okay, it is completely, it is going to be the internet. So what is the concept we are trying to convey here? What is the concept means? 4 different attack points you can have in a very simple network setup. Okay, now let me go to the next slide. In the next slide, you can see here, okay, you can see this A1 and B1. A1 and B1. Okay, what is A1 and B1? Okay, now in this topology diagram, you can see who is A1, who is B1. Okay, now you can see just closely, if you observe, you can find it. Target computer A1, target computer B1. Who is the target? Okay, I'm sending the data. A is sending the data to B. Who will be the target for the attackers? Means both the users. A is also the target and B is also the target. Okay, so A is also the target and B is also the target. So attackers can attack anyone. Okay, so either user A or user B. So anybody, okay, they could be the attackers. Sorry, they could be the target. So A1 and B1, so they could be the target for the attackers. Okay, now in the next slide, you can see here another attack point where the attacker was taken over the target computer is shown in attack point 4. Okay, now I'm just going to elaborate it. Attack point 4. Okay, now you can see what is the difference between this machine and this machine. Okay, what they're trying to say here. Okay, you can see they're simply giving all the layers. Now here you can see in all the layers, okay, the attack point, attack point, attack point. What is that meaning? What is that meaning means? Okay, see, these are all in the networks. Attack point 1, it is while communicating. Okay, that means the data transmitting. Here the data is transferred. Okay, attack. Here the data is transferred, okay, attack during the data transmission. But this attack, in any layer, the attacker can attack. Okay, this is the transmission between the layers from layer 2 to layer 3, layer 3 to layer 4, layer 4 to layer 5. So the attack can be, okay, executed, or the attack can be happen in any layer of the network. Now you try to understand the whole picture now. Okay, from one machine to another machine, I'm going to communicate. From one machine to another machine, I'm going to communicate. This is network. In this network setup, what are all the threats, or where the threats can happen, where the attacks can happen, the possible attacks, where the possible attacks could happen means, okay, these are all the places. From source to the first router, this is attack point 1. From the first router to the second router, this is attack point 2. Suppose if you have more number of routers, attack points will increase. Okay, the attack points will increase. Then finally, from the border router, okay, we used to say is a border router. From the border router to the destination, attack may happen. Then inside this, inside a particular machine, in any layer, the attacks may happen. Okay, the attacks may happen. So this is how, okay, these are all the possible attacks where the attacks may happen in a network. Okay, this is the concept. So we are going to say this as network security threat model. So now, as a network security student, you must understand, okay, the possible attacks, where it could happen. There are so many different places the attacks may happen. Okay, so this is the first concept. So the concept 1 is network security threat model. Now, I'm going for the second concept. What is the second concept of this lecture means? Vulnerabilities. Vulnerability, exploit, and attack. Now, we are going to talk about the vulnerabilities. If you are studying computer security A, so about vulnerability, you might have already studied. Okay, I'll tell you in a very simple way. Vulnerability means weakness. Weakness, or we can say flaw. Flaw means error. Okay, so the weakness or the flaw, okay, in the what means there are so many things. Okay, we know it is okay, the flaw, the error, okay, or the weakness. Where means I'm going to tell about, okay, I'm going to talk using the network. If you take a network security, in computer security, I may tell this in a different way. In network security, I'm telling in a different way. So vulnerability means weakness. Good. Vulnerability means weakness. But where the vulnerabilities, what type of vulnerabilities means? Vulnerabilities in the protocols. This is major. Vulnerabilities in the protocols. What is the protocol structure? Every layer is going to use some set of protocols. If you take application layers, some set of protocols running. If you take the presentation layer, some set of protocols running. Session layer, some set of protocols. In the TCP layer, okay, the major two protocols, TCP and UDP. That means the network layer, transport layer. In the network layer, the very popular protocol is IPv4 or IP. So in every layer, some set of protocols is running. So the vulnerabilities, that means the weakness available in the protocols. Okay, the vulnerabilities means the weakness that may available in the protocols. Okay, that is very important point. Protocols plus some applications. Applications means, okay, some softwares. Okay, it could be any network based software. So the weakness available in the protocol or the applications, okay, we are going to say it is the vulnerabilities. Okay, it is vulnerabilities. Then vulnerabilities or the weaknesses. This is what I told, weaknesses in the design or the implementation of protocol or application. Okay, in the protocol or the applications, whatever the vulnerabilities available, that is called network vulnerabilities. Okay, network vulnerabilities. Okay, now always the attackers. The attackers, that is, they may use, okay, they may use only these vulnerabilities. They will take advantage of your vulnerabilities. So exploit. Exploit means, okay, make use of, exploiting. So exploiting is a method of using the vulnerabilities, taking the advantage of vulnerabilities. So usually the attackers will exploit the vulnerabilities. If you have any vulnerability in your system, automatically the attackers will make use of it. Okay, the attackers will make use of that particular vulnerability. Then if they make use of the vulnerability, what is happening? Okay, automatically attack is going to happen. Okay, you see the words, we are relating the words. So weakness is available. Okay, so somebody is going to exploit that. Exploiting means misuse, misusing that. So if they misuse, automatically it is going to be the attack. So attack is exploit against the vulnerable protocol or the applications. Okay, so if somebody is using your vulnerabilities, okay, that is going to be the attack. Then the next one you can see here, vulnerability, exploit, and attack. So vulnerability can exist anywhere. It could be available in the design of your protocol. Okay, in the design itself, you may have vulnerabilities. Then vulnerabilities may be available in the implementation. Vulnerabilities may be available in the configuration of, okay, in the design, implementation, and configuration of your protocol or a application. Okay, so vulnerability can be available anywhere, okay, in any stage. Okay, it could be in the design stage, or it could be in the implementation stage, or it could be in the configuration stage of a protocol or an application. Then vulnerabilities may present for years, okay, without notice. People, attackers cannot notice that. Even for 5 years, 10 years, okay, a vulnerability will be available without using. So there is no do, you cannot fix. Okay, this is a new vulnerability, this is old vulnerability. Okay, we cannot. So if the vulnerability is available, even for years, it may available. So whenever an attacker finds that, okay, that time, whenever, okay, the time when the vulnerability is discovered, okay, whenever the attacker is discovering your vulnerability, the problem starts. Okay, I have a software, I have a system, or I have a network. In my network, there are a lot of vulnerabilities available. Okay, it is good, keep it. But if somebody discovers that vulnerability, the problem starts. Okay, if someone discovered, then they may use that vulnerability. Okay, that is going to be a very important one. So once if it is discovered, automatically this will be, it will be exploited, and then you will be severely attacked. So attackers always will try to find, attackers will always discover the vulnerabilities of the target. Whatever the target, so targets, okay, do they have any vulnerability? They will check it. If you don't have any vulnerability, you are safe. If you are having a vulnerability and the vulnerability is discovered, okay, you can see in the next slide. Okay, see vulnerability, exploit, attack code, attacks. There are 4 important terms they are using here. So vulnerability means weaknesses. We already know that. Okay, it could be in the design. Okay, it could be in the implementation, or it could be in the configuration part, anywhere. Okay, of a protocol or an application. Okay, anywhere. Now, so you can see this is the time. Now I have a vulnerability. Now after some time, okay, that means it could be 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, anything. There, somebody is going to discover. Okay, somebody is going to discover. Okay, that means the attacker is going to discover, okay, my vulnerability. Okay, now the attack is discovered. So now he is going to make use, exploit. Then how he is going to exploit means he is going to take, or he is going to inject, okay, or he is going to write, okay, some malicious code. Malicious code means some unwanted code. Okay, some unwanted code. So now he is going to inject some unwanted code, okay, into that particular, okay, unwanted code or unwanted program or malicious program. You can use any word. Now he is going to inject. He is going to send. Now, after sending the attack code, the malicious code, now it is going to start attacking. The attack is going to start. Okay, it is the start. Now, see, generally, the time between this and this, okay, that means injecting the attack code and attack, the time between this is going to be always less. And also, it is depending upon what type of vulnerability, what type of code. But usually, okay, the attackers will go fast, okay, because the attackers, they want to escape. They want to escape very quickly. So they cannot wait here, okay, they cannot wait here for a very long time. So what they will do means, so they will just very quickly, they want to quit from here. So there are 4 different stages available. So you have a particular vulnerability. Your vulnerability will be discovered by the attackers. Then the attacker is going to exploit, is going to make use of that particular vulnerability. Then they are creating or injecting, okay, an attack code using the vulnerability. So once it is injected, okay, or created, so with quickly in a short period, so automatically, okay, you will be, okay, a victim, you will be affected by the attack. The attacks will be executed. Okay, the attacks will be executed. So this is how the timeline, okay, the timeline is going on. It is depending upon the attack. Some attacks may take more time here, some attacks may take less time, but the attackers usually, they will not stay, okay, they will not stay in another machine for very long. They'll stay only for a very short duration and quickly they will exit. Okay, then only they will escape. Otherwise, they will, okay, they will be like somebody will caught them. So this is how the things are working. Okay, now you can see there is a very important term here. Okay, one term. So what does that means? 0-day exploit. Okay, you can see 0-day exploit. This is a very important term. So what is a 0-day exploit? Means if the exploit and the corresponding attack code are used before the vulnerability is widely known. Okay, this is a very important point. Okay, a vulnerability is exploited. Okay, a vulnerability is exploited if a vulnerability is used by an attacker before it widely known. Widely means before, okay, even the developer or even the others, okay, others come to know. Okay, if the attacker is using the vulnerability very quickly, okay, I repeat in a very simple way, what is a 0-day exploit means? A attacker, okay, that means this time will be very less. Okay, this is the point. Technically, the time duration between the vulnerability and the exploit will be very less. Okay, it will be very less. Okay, we can say even less than a day. Less than a day. So that means before the vulnerability is known to everyone. Okay, widely known. Vulnerability is widely known. Before the vulnerability is widely known. So your vulnerability is exploited by the attackers. That is called the 0-day exploit. Okay, that is called the 0-day exploit. Okay, multiple choice question. Multiple choice question. So the time duration between the vulnerability and exploiting the vulnerability will be very less. Okay, even in minutes or seconds. So you are having a vulnerability. Before you know that vulnerability, the attacker will use it. Okay, you are having a vulnerability in your network. Before you come to know about that vulnerability, the attacker will make use of it. Okay, that is a 0-day. Okay, 0-day exploit. Then the next one, you can see the risk assessment. Now, if you take the risk assessment means, okay, 3 things. One is the threat, okay, vulnerability, then impact. What is that impact means? The impact of your attack. Okay, the impact of your attack. So 3 dimensions. So 3 things we are going to consider now. Okay, we are going to see the risk, that means the attack in 3 dimensions. What is the 3 dimension? One is going to be your vulnerability. Okay, now you see, I just make a line, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, three dimensions I'm giving now. So vulnerability is starting from less to more. Okay, less vulnerability, medium vulnerability, more vulnerability. Okay, so I'm going to divide the vulnerability into 3 groups. Then, if you go for the threats, so threats means the attacks. Now you can see the threats I'm going to see, okay, in a scale. What is the scale? From likely to, okay, unlikely to likely. So unlikely means it may not happen, 0. But likely means it may happen frequently. Frequently it may happen. The attacks happening frequently. Okay, the attacks happening frequently. So this is going to be the next axis. So the threat. So threat I'm going to see as a likely and unlikely. Okay, between likely means sometimes it may happen, sometimes the attacks may not happen. But likely means frequently the attacks is happening. Okay, every day the attack is happening, or every 2 hours I'm facing the attack. So this is likely is more. Okay, how likely do we have class? We have only 2 hours in a week. Okay, weekly twice. So that is, we are going to say in between. Suppose if you have class every day, 5 days you have class means, so the likely, it is more likely. Okay, if you don't have class means that is going to be unlikely, 0. So we can mark it in this range. Then go to the next one is impact of a threat. Suppose if somebody attack you, okay, somebody attack my network, what is the impact? Okay, what is the impact of this? Means you can divide the impact as low impact, medium impact, high impact. Okay, so the impact will be low. Okay, very less impact. Okay, somebody attack me, but no problem, I can manage it. Okay, in just 1 or 2 hours, my network will be ready. Okay, that is going to be low impact attack. Somebody attacked my network, so it took, okay, it took 2 weeks, 3 weeks for me. Okay, that is going to be medium to come back, to recover. Somebody attacked my network is completely closed, completely gone. I lost all my data, software, everything gone. It is doomsday, catastrophic, completely finished. That is going to be high impact. So you can analyze, okay, you can assess your risk. Okay, so in these 3 things, okay, in these 3 things, suppose, okay, let me give an example. You are having more vulnerabilities, you are having, okay, if you're having more vulnerabilities, so automatically your impact will be high, and your, okay, that means the threats will happen likely. So it is going, if the vulnerability is increasing, if the vulnerability is more, automatically, okay, that means the threat may also increase, the impact also may increase. Okay, so this is how you can assess. Okay, risk assessment is a very big topic actually. Okay, there are so many steps available in risk assessment. Okay, just only one slide. Okay, we are studying here. We are just giving an introduction. So what is risk assessment means? Risk assessment is a process where you decide how important something is and how hard you are going to work to protect it. So how difficult it is, and how important it is, and how hard you are going to work. So how hard means, so you must reduce all your vulnerabilities. You have to try to reduce all your vulnerabilities always. Okay, so this is the concept of a risk assessment. Now let me go to the next topic. The next topic is, okay, I think this is the last topic in this lecture. This is a very small lecture. Now, network security taxonomy. Network security taxonomy consists of 4 categories of vulnerabilities. There are 4 different categories of vulnerabilities available. Okay, we are talking about the vulnerabilities, particularly vulnerabilities in the protocol and the applications, because this is network security. So there are 4 different categories of vulnerabilities available that can be placed out against any layer or any protocol. So you can place this in any layer, or you can place this in any protocol. Okay, what are they? The 4 categories of vulnerabilities in network security. The first type of vulnerability is header-based vulnerabilities. Header. Header means immediately 3 things should come to your mind. Only 3 layers are going to deal with the headers. What are they? Layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4. These are the 3 layers which are going to deal with the headers. Protocol based. Protocol is available in all the layers. Okay, in all the layers. Okay, every layer is having a different set of protocols. Then authentication based. So this is going to be like authentication based. Authentication means how to authenticate the users, something. We will see it in the coming slides. Then traffic based means different type of packets. Okay, different types of packets. Okay, that is called the traffic based. So there are a lot of packets: HTTP packet, TCP packet, UDP packet, ICMP packets. So there are different types of packets available. So based on the type of packet also, you may have the attack. So we are dividing the the vulnerabilities into 4 categories. Okay, we are into 4 categories. The first category is a header based. Second category is a protocol based. Third layer is application based, authentication based, and then the last category is the traffic based. Okay, now let me go to the first method, the first category, which is the header based. I already told in the previous slide. So in the header based means it is going to happen only in 3 layers. Okay, only in the 3 layers. What are the 3 layers? Layer 2, data link layer. Layer 3, network layer. Layer 4, transport layer. Okay, these are the 3 layers. Now, what are the vulnerabilities available in the headers? So header-based vulnerabilities and attacks. Now, when a protocol, for example, you take layer 4, I'm going for layer 4. In layer 4, 2 popular protocols. One is the TCP and another one is the UDP. These are the 2 different protocols, 2 important protocols. Now, in the header-based vulnerabilities, when a protocol header is created, protocol header means either a TCP header or a UDP header. If a header is created, okay, in violation of standards, without following the standards, you have to follow some standards for creating the header. What is the standard? The size of the header. Inside the header, we have fixed. That means the length of the each and every field. In yesterday class, we discussed about the flag, FLAG flag. So flag is a field available in the TCP header. So you have to follow the rules. Okay, for flag, what is the size? You have to follow it. Okay, source port number. Okay, because transport layer, in transport layer we use port number. Source port number. Okay, you have to follow some rules. So if you are not following the standards, okay, automatically the problem starts. See, violation of the standards, such as using invalid values in a field. For every field, okay, using some invalid values. If you are using some invalid values for a field, okay, what is that field? Okay, just give me 1 minute time. I will just copy, okay, the header and I will paste it here so that you can understand, okay, easily. Just 1 minute, okay, please hold on. Now, yeah, you can see this is a TCP header. This is a TCP header. Are you able to see? Any one of you confirm?
Yes.
Yes, Victor.
Yes. Very good. Now, this is a TCP header. Okay, TCP header. Why? How you can say TCP header, teacher? You see, source port number, destination port number is available. So source port number, destination port number, it will be used only in the TCP layer. Okay, now what we are studying, while creating this header, you have to follow, okay, the proper standards. What is the standard? You see, source port number is 16 bits. 16 bits means it should be 16 bits. Then destination port number, it should be 16 bits. Then sequence number, okay, it should be, okay, 16 plus 16, 32 bits. Now flags, yesterday we discussed about the flags. Okay, what are the different types of flags available? Means sync flag, fin, fin, fin flag, acknowledgement flag, okay, urgent flag. Okay, we saw one list of flags. Now you have to use only that particular flags. If you use something different, automatically it is violation. Okay, it is violation. So every layer, this is TCP layer. If you go for the IP layer, you have IP header. You go to the data link layer, you have the Ethernet header. Okay, every layer, only three layers. Transport layer, it is having a header. Okay, either TCP header or UDP header. If you go for the network layer, you have the IP header, IPv4 header, IPv6 header. If you go to the layer 2, you have the Ethernet header. So you have to create the header with or following the standards. If you are not violating the standards, automatically, okay, the problem starts. Okay, example, they are giving some example. I'm not going to memorize this example. I'm not going to memorize the example. Okay, why? I can write my own example by using this. Suppose the port number is the maximum. What is the maximum port number? The last port number is 65,535. That is the last one. Okay, we discussed about the port numbers. Let me insert it. Okay, just to understand. See, 65,535. So that is the last port number. The maximum port number is this. Now I'm going to give a port number like this. Okay, what is that? I'm going to use a port number. Okay, 7,000. I'm using a port number like this. So if I use a port number like 7,000, automatically this is going to be an invalid value, for this particular field. This is a vulnerability, a weakness. Okay, so this is going to be a vulnerability, or we can say it is a weakness. So this is, so for every field, you have to fix the correct value. If you are fixing something incorrect or invalid value, means automatically, okay, you are vulnerable. Okay, you are vulnerable. So these vulnerabilities are, okay, is header based vulnerabilities. Okay, these vulnerabilities are called header based vulnerabilities. Now you can see, okay, I'll read the examples for you, no problem. See, setting all of the bits to 0 in a control field when the standard calls for the at least one bit being set. Okay, what is that? Now, for some field in the header, you have to fix at least one bit. You have to fix. Okay, this is a condition. Some fields, okay, here it may ask at least you have to fix some value. Okay, you take flag. So the flag, you have to fix your flag. Okay, you have to fix your flag. There are list of flags available. You must fix your flag for your, okay, in the header. Suppose I'm not giving any flags. Okay, in my packet, in my header, that is going to be a problem. So in some cases, at least one bit you have to set, but I'm not going to set. I make everything 0, means this is a vulnerability. Okay, this is vulnerability. Then creating invalid headers. What is that? Invalid headers, where the header is too long. Okay, whether the header is too long or the header is too short. Okay, see, this is what is the length. This is 16, 32 bits is the length. Okay, I'm going to extend. I'm going to make it as, okay, I'm going to make it as a 64 bit. I'm increasing the header. The size of the header you can increase, or you can reduce the size of the header. Okay, you can reduce the size of the header. So anything which is you can do. Okay, you can increase, you can decrease. Okay, if you do like that, that is also going to be the problem. Then source and destination address manipulation. Yesterday we discussed about this. Address snooping. You are not giving your own IP address. You are not giving your own MAC address. If you give somebody's MAC address, that is also going to be a vulnerability. Then putting values in the header that are above or below the level specified in the standard. I gave the example now. What is that? Putting the values in the header above or below the level. So above the level or below the level. Example, it is available in front of you. Port number, it should be 65,535. The port number should be maximum. Okay, but what I'm doing, I'm giving 70,000. I'm giving. So this is the above the level. So automatically your, okay, that means the header will become vulnerable. So these are all the examples. Okay, these are all the examples. Okay, for header-based vulnerabilities. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, header-based vulnerabilities. Now you can see one or more famous header-based attacks is ping of death. Okay, this is a very important concept. In the lab part, I'll show this. What is a ping of death? Ping of death means I'm going to send a packet to a destination which is larger in size. Okay, comparing with the normal packet, the size of the packet I'm sending to you, okay, it is going to be more. Okay, it is going to be big. A larger packet, sending a large size of packet to the another machine, it will make the other machine to shut down. You can crash the other machine. So this is called the ping of death attack. So attackers will generally, they will create a packet with normal, okay, which is greater than the normal size. Okay, and they will send it, particularly the ping packets, ICMP packets. ICMP packets will be created, okay, in a very big size, and it will be sent to the destination and crashing the destination machine. It is a ping of death. Then header-based attacks are often easy to fix once discovered. So once if you discover, you can easily fix it. You can fix that particular problem, but are difficult to discover. Since they rely on the finding the mistakes in the implementation of the protocol, because they are all happening only in the layer 4, layer 3, okay, layer 2. So it is going to happen only in these layers. And mostly these layers are controlled by the operating systems, not controlled by the users. Okay, so generally users will never see this. Okay, ordinary user cannot see this. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, generally we are concentrating only in the application layer and presentation layer, session layer. Okay, your operating system is going to deal with these layers. So generally discovering these vulnerabilities is difficult. Okay, so you may not discover these vulnerabilities. So this is the first part. That means 4 categories of vulnerabilities we are discussing. The first category of vulnerability is header-based vulnerabilities. Okay, so the vulnerabilities available in the headers. Now, I'm moving to the next part. That means the next category. So the second category is protocol. So protocol-based vulnerabilities and attacks. So protocols means you have to take all the layers into consider. Every layer you have to consider here. From starting from layer 7 to layer 1. In every layer, some set of protocols are used. If you take application layer, in application layer only you have hundreds of protocols. Presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer. Okay, so a data link layer. In every layer, some set of protocols, okay, we are going to use. So protocol-based vulnerabilities means what? So protocol-based vulnerabilities are where all the packets are valid, but they violate the procedure aspect of the protocol. Packet is good. The packet sent by that protocol will be good, but they are going to violate. Violate means they are not going to follow the procedure of that particular protocol. So violating the procedure. Okay, so if you take TCP protocol means TCP protocol is having some procedure. What is the procedure? Yesterday we discussed. Okay, I'm taking TCP here. Okay, I'm just taking an example as TCP here. So TCP protocol is having some procedure. What is the procedure means? First, you have to establish the connection three-way handshake. You have to do the three-way handshake first. Okay, this is a procedure. Then only you can send the TCP packets. This is the procedure of TCP protocol. But what I'm going to do means I'm not going to follow this procedure. So simply I'm going to send TCP packets to a destination. Okay, I'm simply sending the TCP packets to a particular destination. I'm going to send it. So now this is going to be a vulnerability. This is going to be a vulnerable. Okay. So to a destination, I'm not following the procedure. I'm simply going to send the TCP packets. Good. Okay, this is the point. You see, packets are valid. Your packets are valid. Okay, your packets are good, but you are not going to follow, or you are going to violate the procedure of that particular protocol. Any particular protocol. If you take UDP protocol, in UDP there is no procedure. You can simply send. Okay, you can simply send. If you go for the application layers, HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocol will have a particular procedure, some steps. SSH, secure shell protocol. So every protocol is having some steps, some procedures. So you must follow the particular procedures. Okay, if you are not following the procedures, automatically this is called protocol-based vulnerabilities. Okay, now we are having some examples. I gave you a very simple example by using TCP. Okay, example. Now we are having some examples here. You can find, okay, two examples they are giving. Okay, what is that? Let me go to the second one. You can easily understand. Sending packets too fast or too slow. Any protocol you take. So I'm going to send the packets very fast. Very fast. Okay, that means one by one, first packet, second packet, third. So the time duration between the packets, you have to manage. So without that, I'm going to send the packets too fast. So a lot of chances available for the packet loss. This is also a vulnerability. Sending a packet very slow. Okay, sending the packet very slow. So this is also a problem. Okay, there is one important concept. Okay, so please note it. Okay, in a paper. There is a concept called flow control. This is available in the TCP protocol. The TCP protocol. Okay, in TCP you might have studied about this in some courses. This TCP protocol. In TCP we have something called flow control. So what the flow control is going to do means the flow control is going to solve these problems. These problems will be solved. Okay, that means one machine is sending the packet very fast. The other machine is not able to receive it means the speed difference between these two you can manage by using flow control. So the flow control concept in the TCP, it will manage this. It will avoid the packet loss. Okay, it's a very beautiful concept. Okay, so the speed difference between two machines. Okay, one machine is very fast, one machine is very slow. Okay, the fast machine, the machine which is very fast, it will send the packets very quickly. But the machine which is very slow, it could not receive the packets properly. It may lose the packet may drop, packet may lost. So what it will do means the TCP protocol will manage the difference between these two. So that is called the flow control concept. Okay, this is, I'm telling the solution. But if you do this, it is going to be a vulnerability. Then next one, sending packets out of order. This is the second example for protocol-based vulnerability. Okay, what is that? Out of order. Okay, you can see send the wrong packet in response to a packet. Sending a open connection packet in response to the connection closed. Yesterday we discussed. What is that? I want to start a connection. So I'm giving sync packet. I'm sending a sync packet from one machine to another machine. I'm sending a sync packet. So what does it mean? I want to start a connection with you, three-way handshake. So I'm sending a sync packet. Now, for the sync packet, what is the packet you have to get? What is the packet you have to send it? Okay, the response. So the response should be sync of B. That means the receiver. Sync of B. Okay, the receiver plus the acknowledgement should come. ACK. Okay, the acknowledgement packet should come. So this is the sending. This is the order, the correct order. If I send a sync to you, I'm asking hello, how are you? I'm asking you. So you have to say hello. Okay, I'm fine. So instead of telling hello, I'm fine. Okay, you're going to tell something different. Okay, so this is going to be okay out of order. So now for sync packet, you must get this. The sync of okay. First one is sync of A. Let it be. So this is sync of A. So the result is going to be, that means what you are, the reply you are going to get, sync of B plus acknowledgement you are going to get. So this is the correct order. Suppose I'm going to get in this order. Okay, what does that means? I'm sending the sync packet to you. A sync of A, I want to start a TCP connection with you, but you are going to send a FIN. FIN means close. You are sending a FIN packet to me. Okay, you are sending a FIN packet to me. Automatically, what is happening? So now, okay, see. Sending an open connect packet, an open connection packet in response to a closed connection. That means somebody is giving a FIN. Somebody is giving a FIN. I have to give acknowledgement, but I'm not giving acknowledgement. I'm sending sync. So this is going to be okay, sending packets out of order. So sending a packet that was not expected. Sending a packet that was not expected. Already the connection is open. Already the connection is open. Already the connection is open. Now again I'm getting a sync packet. I'm getting a sync packet. This is called irrelevant. Irrelevant to the context. So these are all the protocol based vulnerabilities. Okay, examples. Now you are going for next one. The next example, not sending the packets at all. Not sending the packets at all. This is the third example. Yes, I'm asking, hello, how are you? Nobody is going to give the response. Okay, nobody is giving the response. Okay, I'm telling an example. So this is going to be not sending the packets. Okay, I'm just sending a sync packet to you. Okay, what you have to send? You have to give the acknowledgement and sync, but you are not giving anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm just simply waiting. Okay, I'm just simply waiting. Okay, I'm asking, hello, how are you? So nobody is going to give response. I'm going to simply wait. Okay, I'm waiting for another particular duration. I'm going to wait. So this types of thing is not sending the packets. So these are all protocol based vulnerabilities. Then sending the valid packets to a wrong layer. This is another very important thing. Sending a good packet. A packet is correct. It's a valid packet. Sending it to a wrong layer. Okay, I'm sending a frame. I'm sending a frame to the network layer. Frame should be in the layer 2. Packet layer 3. Segments layer 4. So I'm going to change this order. Okay, I'm changing the order. This is also protocol based vulnerabilities. Then next one is sending valid packets to a wrong multiplexed packet stream. So sending a valid packets to a wrong packet stream. Okay, that means sending a UDP packet in a TCP stream. Sending a TCP packet. Okay, I'm teaching to you. This is a network security class. Suppose I'm going to teach programming for you. Using network security class, I'm going to teach programming for you. This is okay. Programming is correct. Programming is correct. Okay, but I should not teach during network class. This is okay. This is a class for the network security. I have to teach network security, but instead of that, I'm going to teach okay a programming, okay, Java programming or Python programming I'm going to teach for you. So this is going to be considered as, okay, valid packets to the wrong multiplexed packet stream. Okay, so this is all about protocol based vulnerabilities. Now I'm going for the third category of vulnerabilities. Totally 4 categories available. Now we are in the third category. So the third category of vulnerability is authentication based vulnerabilities. Authentication based, okay, vulnerabilities and attacks. Okay, so what is authentication? We already know authentication means I'm going to prove, okay, I'm going to prove myself that I am an authenticated user. So authentication is the proof of one's identity to another. So if I enter into the college, so the college security is going to stop me. Okay, please stop. Show your ID card, even, okay, after 10 years. Even I'm working for very long, still, okay. So without checking my card, they're not going to allow me inside, okay, the college. So authentication is the proof of one's identity to another. Okay, authentication is where one layer relies on the identity of the another layer to carry out for the informations. So that means one layer is going to authenticate, okay, it is going to authenticate the another layer. Then snooping is an attack on the authentication of the layers. So what is snooping means? See, yesterday we discussed source IP address. I'm taking the source IP address, but the source IP address I'm not giving the correct, I'm giving a fake IP address I'm giving. Okay, this is not my IP address, this is somebody's IP address, but the IP address I'm going to fix it. Okay, I'm going to fix it as like this, okay, and I'm giving it to the next layer. So the next layer, simply it is going to trust, it is going to believe me, and it is going to accept it. Okay, you are trusting your own layers. But if your layer, if one layer is giving a fake information, means automatically it will cross every layer and it will go to the destination. Okay, it will cross every layer and it is going to reach. Okay, you will understand clearly in the coming slides, no need to worry about it. Now let me go to the next slide. You can see authentication in network protocol state, in the protocol state. So what does that means? See, in a network protocol stack, authentication is needed in several places. So you must do the authentication in so many different places. Okay, what are the different types of authentications? You can see user to user authentication, user to host authentication, then host to host authentication, host to user authentication. So there are 4 different types of authentication is needed here. Okay, if you're going for the networks, okay, in the network security, there are 4 different types of authentications are needed. Okay, what are they? So the first authentication is user to user authentication. Second type of authentication is user to host authentication. Then the third one is host to host authentication, then the host to user authentication. Okay, now where all these things, see, go to this topology diagram. This is my machine and this is, okay, me, I am the user. Then this is your machine and this is you. Now, so here we are going to have 4 different types of authentications you are going to have. Okay, what is that? So first thing, you are going to authenticate me and I am going to authenticate you. This is user to user authentication. Okay, I'm just communicating with you. I'm communicating with you. So now I know you and you know me. Okay, we are going to authenticate with each other. That means the user level of authentication. So user to user authentication is where 2 or more users prove their identity to each other. Okay, so 2 or more users, they are going to prove their identity to each other. So this could be used for, it could be anything. It could be a digital certificate, okay, or it could be a PIN number or a password or some code words, something like that. So a user to user authentication, okay, this is going to be the first category of authentication. Then I'm going for the second authentication. What is the second authentication means? Host to host authentication. Okay, what is host to host authentication means? I am using a machine and you are using a machine. So the two machines, they are going to communicate, they are going to authenticate with each other. Okay, that means two applications. See, authentication between two applications, host or the network layers, done using the host or application address. Okay, application address like IP address or hardware address. That means in host to host communication, we are going to use the IP address or the MAC address for authentication. That means my computer is going to authenticate your computer. My IP address is 10.0.0.1. I want to communicate with 10.0.0.2. So you are 10.0.0.2. So these two machines, they are going to confirm this. Okay, they are going to confirm. So 10.0.0.1. Okay, if you want, I just write it here. So this is my machine, 10.0.0.1. And my machine is going to communicate with you, and your machine is IP. Okay, for example, this is your machine. Now the two machines, they are going to authenticate in the, okay, that means the IP address and hardware address means MAC address. So this is going to be authenticated. So this concept is called, okay, host to host authentication. So please make sure this is my IP address and your IP address is 10.0.0.2, and our two computers going to authenticate with each other. So this is, I'm going to say as host to host authentication. Okay, host to host authentication. Now let me go to the user to host. Okay, now it is going to be the cross. Okay, now it is going to be the cross. That means a user to host. So I am the user. I'm going to authenticate your IP address and MAC address. I'm going to authenticate. Okay, I'm going to authenticate your IP address and your MAC address. I'm going to go. Okay, that means this is going to be the cross. So user to host. Okay, user to host, then host to user authentication. Host to user authentication. Okay, let us see the points. Okay, let me show the points, then things will become very clear. So the user may also need to prove who he is to an application, host, or the protocol layer before he gains the access. A user is going to prove, okay, the user is going to prove, I am the user. I'm going to prove myself for the applications, okay, or for the host or for the protocols, okay, the running in this machine before accessing. Okay, you see the words. A user is going to prove himself to the other user. That is user to user authentication. A user is going to prove himself for the application. A user is going to prove himself for the TCP. That means for the port numbers. A user is going to prove himself for the IP layer. Okay, user himself is going to prove himself for the, okay, different layers, for the different layers and the protocols. So this is going to be a user to host authentication. Okay, a user to host authentication. So the most common form is you can use the username, you can use the password, okay, a PIN number also you can use. Okay, there are different mechanisms. Okay, actually, what is this, teacher? Teacher, slightly confusing, teacher. Okay, slightly confusing. Yes, I will give an example, you will understand very clearly. Now, I am the user. Okay, I am the user. This is my username. In our college, for example, there is a server available. Okay, there is a server available. So I want to access this machine. Okay, I'm not going to access another user. I want to access this machine. Okay, or take, we have a router. Take, we have a router in our college. So the IP address of this router is, for example, this is the IP address of this particular router. Now, from my machine, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the telnet, or I'm going to use, let it be SSH protocol. Okay, or if you want very simple, make telnet very simple. Okay, telnet, I'll go with telnet. I'm using the IP address, okay, 111.12.1.1. okay, I'm just going to enter. I'm giving the command in this, okay, this command I'm giving in my machine. I know the IP address of my router. Now, immediately the router is going to ask me enter the password. Okay, enter the password. Okay, so this is a layer 3 device. Router is a layer 3 device. Okay, it is a layer 3 device. Now, the layer 3 device, okay, it is asking me, okay, I am in the layer 3 now of the router. It is asking me the password. Now, for example, this is the password I'm giving. If the password is correct, means now I am authenticated. Okay, I can enter into the router by sitting from my home. I entered into my router. So, user to a host authentication. This is the concept. Okay, now I enter into the router. Authentication is over. So, user Raja is now enter into the host or enter into the machine or enter into the router. So, which is available in a different place. Now I can do anything. I can use any command. So, I can just use any command. I can do any configuration here. Okay, like this. So, this is the user to host authentication. So, 4 different categories, okay, 4 different types of authentications we discussed here. So, the first authentication is, okay, user to user authentication. Second one is a host to host authentication. Third one, user to host authentication. And the fourth one is host to user authentication. So, host to user, it is going to be just opposite. Okay, you see, allows the user to prove the identity of the host or she is connecting to, used when a user connects to a secure website. If you are connecting to a website, so the website will ask you to enter a username. Okay, enter the username or password. So you are going to enter a username, and it is almost like the previous concept. Okay, it is almost a previous concept. So these are all the different, okay, authentications you can have. Okay, so this is the third categories of vulnerabilities we are discussing. Now, the last one is traffic based. So what is traffic based? So traffic based means, you can keep it in your mind, sending a huge number of packets at a time. Sending a huge number of packets. Too much of traffic. Okay, if you send, so that is going to be the traffic based. Okay, here everything it is going to be depending upon the traffic, the packets. See, traffic based vulnerability. This is the fourth category of vulnerabilities we are discussing. Okay, the fourth category. So what does that means? So traffic based vulnerabilities and attacks focus on the traffic on the network. So focusing on the traffic on a network. Okay, focusing on the traffic on a network. So traffic means nothing, packets. Example, you are having 2 examples here. Too much traffic on a network. If you are receiving too much packets, that is also vulnerable. If you are sending too much of packets, that is also vulnerable. Okay, that is also vulnerable. From the next, I think from 5th lecture, 6th lecture, we are going to start about, okay, different steps of hacking. What are the steps of hacking we are going to discuss? So the first step is, okay, sniffing. You can capture the others packets and you can see, okay, you can get the information about him. Okay, okay, about the attackers, you can find what are the basic informations you can collect. Okay, now the first example is too much of traffic. Second example, attacker being able to capture the traffic. This is what I'm talking about. So the attackers being able to capture the traffic, they can capture your information and they can steal. Okay, they can steal your information. They can steal your information. Okay, they can steal your information after capturing your packets. So these are the 2 examples there. When too much of data is sent to a particular layer or the layers, then they cannot keep up the incoming data, which can cause the layers to drop the packets or stopping the packets. Okay, nothing. What does it mean? Every layer must receive a limit. There is a limit available. Okay, there is a limit available. Suppose if you are sending too much of packets for a particular layer means, okay, they cannot process it. Okay, they cannot process it. They have to simply drop the packets. Okay, they will simply drop the packet. This is the concept. So every layer, network layer means it can handle a limit. There will be a limit for it. If you're sending too much of packets, they cannot handle it. So simply they will drop the packet, or they will stop. Okay, you can say the layer to drop the packets or stop handling the packets altogether. Okay, this is something like whole threshold. Okay, that means pushing too much of things. Okay, so that is pushing too much of things means automatically your layer is not going to work. There. One type of traffic-based vulnerability is sniffing. Sniffing we are going to study. So what is packet sniffing means? Whatever the packets you send, it will be captured by a third party and they are going to sniff your packets. Okay, this is a very popular attack. Okay, in computer security A, in first lecture, you might have studied about this. Okay, what is that means? Interruption. Interception. What does that means? So a third party can read your packets. Loss of confidentiality. Loss of confidentiality. Now, so threat-based attack. So you can say, traffic-based attack. You can shut down your service. Okay, complete machine you can shut down by sending too much of packets. You can shut down a network by sending too much of packets. You can shut down your machine. All these things are possible. In next class, I will show you an example. Okay, by using a tool, by using a software. So if you are sending too much of packets, okay, this is a very good attack. What is the name of this attack means? This is called denial of service attack. In network security, in computer security A, you will study this lecture. It's a very interesting lecture. Denial of service attacks. This is called denial of service attacks. So by sending a huge number of packets, that is called flood. Okay, by flooding the number of packets, you can shut down a particular service. Particular service means a particular connection you can close. You can shut down your network, the complete network you can shut down, and even you can shut down a machine. Okay, a machine also you can shut down. That is called, okay, these are all the problems. That means these are all the threats based on the traffic. Okay, sending too much of packets may shut down a service, may shut down a network, may shut down a machine. Okay, so this is about the fourth category of vulnerability, which is traffic-based vulnerabilities. So what we discussed in this class means we discussed about network threat model. That means we talk about the layers, then where the problem starts, 4 different points. Then we discussed about the vulnerabilities, exploiting, and attacks. And we have taken the attacks. In attacks, there are 4 different categories available. One is the header-based attacks, then protocol-based attacks, then authentication-based attacks, then traffic-based attacks. That means vulnerabilities and attacks. So these are the 4 different categories. So this is a very short lecture. Okay, so with this I'm closing. Okay, thank you very much. I already announced. Okay, next week Tuesday you are having quiz 1, first quiz, first 3 lectures. Okay, first 3 lectures. After the quiz we are going to start our lab. Okay, we are going to start the lab. All of you please kindly install Packet Tracer. Okay, kindly install the Packet Tracer software and get ready with the Packet Tracer software. Okay, first 2 labs we are going to do in the Packet Tracer. Then we are going to going for Kali Linux. Okay,